Okay, so we're recording now. We're gonna get this started. We're here to, me and Angela Rose are here. We're here to talk about the energies. And on that note, I wanted to share my little epiphany last night. That Angela got to have fun with that too, huh?
Yes.
So, you know, I thought that I've been doing this clearing thing for years, and I thought that I've cleared everything that was really deep. And this has been knocking at me for months, and I'm just a little bit stubborn.
Just a little.
Everyone's laughing. Just a little bit stubborn. And I had to look at it last night. And what happened was, when I was talking to one of the people's higher selves that was involved in this healing, she said to me, she said part of the reason she put herself in that lineage was to help you to be able to shine your light. And she said, we all take sacrificial type lives so that someone else can shine their light. And this led me back also to, let me expound on that. She said, you know, where you either go into a lineage or you take a brain chemistry that makes it so you can't see through the illusion ever, things like that, where you put yourself in a position where you hurt someone or a bunch of people really badly in order so they can find their own light. And of course, I was crying through this whole epiphany. And it reminded me of, I think it's about a year ago, my father came to me and brought me all the men that have been in my life that have hurt me and their higher selves. Mm-hmm. And he said, you know, he said, these men, all of these men gave up their kingliness, that's what he said, so that you may eventually become a queen. And I spoke to all of them. And at the end, there was this vision of all of them kneeling, one knee up, and it was like a stairway up to like a throne. And last night, when I went through all this, you know, it took seconds, not all this time, I just started crying. And I didn't just forgive all the people that have hurt me. I had so much gratitude for them. And right. I understood that we are not in sole possession of our light, that our light is given to us by so many people.
Right.
Which also means you're not alone, which also brings you completely full circle back to oneness, back to understanding oneness.
And that full compassion.
And full compassion. And this is the alchemy. This is the taking the lead that is weighing you down and turning it into that molten gold that's light and airy and raising you up to the throne of who you are.
I love it. I got goosebumps.
Yes. Is that beautiful? Yeah. It's like a full circle thing. This, you know, and then you start thinking about ways. I'm very empathic. And if I hurt someone, especially if it's someone close to me, it hurts me. But then you can appreciate that maybe, you know, you don't know why you did that. Maybe you did that for a reason. Maybe you did that so that person can find a little bit of their light.
Yes.
So it's a full circle compassion. It's a full, this is oneness. It's a full, this is going into the depths of hell, into the fires, and flying out through the ashes as the phoenix. You know, it was just such an amazing epiphany. And I wasn't going to share this today, but I told you this morning, somebody's niggling at me.
No, I mean, it's so relevant. Seriously, because I really don't care who you are. If you're paying attention to everything in that present moment, all of the energy and what is, you know, it's being supportive of within and then also just everywhere. but it comes back to that being present. And like when me and you were discussing it, you know, even though like you are very wise and you know how, you know, well, we think we know how this works. You know, I had to ask you a couple times, listen to yourself, feel this. What is, you know, the root? And, but that's the whole thing, is sometimes we get so confident that we're like, you know, I know that we have to keep clearing and keep healing and doing all this. But it's literally, you know, that's what they always say, just stay in that present moment, because it's not always what we think it is. And if we come from that space and just always just open our heart and really be in that unconditional love and compassion for ourselves, and then for the other person that we're having said thought about, you can physically see it in a completely different light, and you can appreciate it. Like there's really nothing that is negative, nothing, even though you can perceive it, but where are you perceiving that from? You know, when you change and be like, okay, no, I'm going to be open and honest with myself, because obviously this is something I need to go through. And we see it from a different perspective of, holy crap, I was meant to, you know, that just swung out of my mouth because I was meant to literally trigger them so that they can realize what they're holding on to, and vice versa. Just like you said, all the people that have hurt us. Okay, you can sit in that, not you, but just we can sit in that of, oh, you hurt me. But when you look deep within, what did I learn? What lesson, you know, I'll never do that again. I will never let myself, you know, be taken advantage of in that way. But check, we've just accomplished one of the things that we came here to do, in conjunction with that other soul that loves us enough, that agreed to say, I will hurt you so you can see how it feels and learn and grow from it and be better. But when we have that compassion, I mean, it's literally just that simple. But it's a matter of us getting to that place that we can say and have, you know, and literally just come from that love and compassion and nothing else, and just let that ego just go.
I know, yes. And the thing about it is, it's important, because this spiritual journey, if first of all, it can feel so lonely, and it is a very self-centered process at first. But when you start getting into it, you understand how it expands, you know? And I want to talk about the recent energy and how the best let it work with you, because even though when you, I'm sorry, even though when you are facing,
speak your truth, sister.
I know, when you are facing something and you feel like you're in the quicksand of the very pits of hell, and that is what it feels like. Make no mistake. We have been on our knees. We have been curled up in balls in our bed. Why? But you know what? When you do that, when you are brave enough to face that, oh my God, the other side, learning, this is about finding your bliss. The bliss that begins and ends with you. Right. And not really, because guess what? You're not alone. This is oneness. It's just amazing. So I want you to run with that and tell us some stuff.
And I really think that's why this is so important that you brought up what you experienced, because that's just experience, you know. And once you dig into that, and the reward, like you said, like of just the crying and the healing and understanding that, you know, what all are we holding on to still? Because that's what I feel, the shift in the energy from, you know, say last year to even, and I wouldn't even say January 1. I thought it was crazy January 1, but come about April, stuff started getting real. And I just don't think I don't feel that there is a whole lot of space left for us to keep anything dense trapped within anymore. And the people around us that do unconditionally love us, even if we're not in that place in that relationship that you're like, where you could even with your eye, you know, like in our day to day realize, but there's no exceptions. Every single person in your life, and I look at this like from a, you know, like a work standpoint, employees that come in. I mean, there's no exceptions, whether it's the guy that's bagging your groceries and you can see that he might have a little bit of sadness and you feel it being that empath, you know, and you just walk by and say, hey, you know what? Let me give you a hug. I was at a restaurant the other night.
Can't do that these days, though.
Oh, I do. And if I go in and they're like, I'll take it, but then you got some, they're like, hey, give me the elbow. Okay, I'll do that too, but that's not as significant. But no, I was at a restaurant and this gentleman, I couldn't talk really because I read lips and I really get that full love, you know, but this, I mean, I'll make eye contact because I always will, but I'm just not a mask person. I'm not about, you know, carrying on that symbology of let me just shut myself up. But anyway, no worries to anybody that does. I just not a fan. But anyway, he came up and he was like, you know, filled my water and I was like, well, what's your favorite thing here? And he bursted out and he was super excited. Well, little did I know he was a busboy. And which I don't give a shit. So the server comes up and I had actually ordered based upon what he said was good. And she's like, you know, he's just a busboy. I was like, well, actually, I don't really care what he is because he's full of energy. He's happy. He's this. He was everything that anyone would ever want when you're in that atmosphere. And I just felt him. And he was limping pretty good. But not like he was hurting. Like maybe he had a prosthetic or something. Well, come to find out, and he was younger, maybe early 20s. But he went through chemo and he actually came and he's fine, but he had cancer. So he may have lost a limb due to that. We didn't get into details, but it was that automatic response of my heart to just take his hand. And if I could exchange any loving energy with him, I just felt I didn't even have the time to think before I went reaching for his hand. Aww. And he handed it to me and, you know, kept checking in. He was just like, are you okay? And all this, but it's just, that's a lot of what this energy is too, is when we're in our heart space and not worrying about judgment, or because we can judge ourselves too through this really hard. But
oh yeah,
when we have that, you know, and I say it's even ego on the light side of, no, I got this, I'm all light, you know, and you know what I mean? Like,
but we're not all light. That's the
no
problem.
But that's exactly what I'm saying.
And that's where, you know, that's a separation thing too.
Yes.
To see a lightness and a darkness is a separation thing.
Right.
But yeah, no, God, no. I mean,
I just think it's beautiful. It's just, it's so, it's hard as crap every day. Yeah. But like you said, the reward, like after you actually sit in that and have that oneness with yourself,
yeah,
and appreciating that other person and really just pulling away the separation and the barriers. That's what this is doing. And it's like electrocuted. You know what I mean? Like so intense. And just, you know, like me and you have talked about before, that roller coaster, like, you know, but that the roller coaster, the high is after you've experienced that low and that self-realization and understanding with somebody else, or it's the collective. It's not, I don't think there's anyone that's not being affected by this, to be honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. You know, that brings up something very poignant, and you forgot to mention, we did, before we started, we brought in all the higher selves of people who will watch this. So we might
ever. And there is no exceptions. Yes.
So this feels important right now. So the other day, I'm very much into alchemy. I move energy easily. I can move, I'm getting better and better at it. And I said, this is energy. This coronavirus is energy. Why can't some of us just get together and get rid of it? And this is what I heard. Why do you think you have the right to take that from other people? Why do you think you have the right to take that
Exactly.
experience?
I was just going to say, they were screaming free will. That's why.
Because there was a timeline, because I saw this timeline. I thought it was the real one. There was a timeline where it went away at the end of April, and it was going to come back for a resurge in October. That didn't happen. Okay. I'm hoping the other timeline I've seen is true, but it's not for a while either. I don't want to touch on that. I don't think that that's important, but that
you don't think that's important?
No, because it could be wrong.
Not that you could be wrong. I'm mainly what, I guess, my point, because I'm so, and I know I think all of us know that with the corona and the way that everything was, it could have went a multitude of different ways, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I don't know, I heard on a video that, and I already knew this was coming, I felt it coming, but about March 27th was when that third wave was going to wake up. And that makes total sense, because what was it, like March 17th, everything just went bananas. So about 10 days in, but I'm thinking and feeling now, probably that, really a 3-month window, and seeing and feeling for those people that were just completely oblivious to, they're just like, like our community is getting so much bigger every single day, and we can feel them. Yes. Can we not? Yes. Like, I love that. I love it. It's like, and they're so strong. They're so strong. It's like, and okay, so I'm going to regroup a little bit, because this blows my mind, especially with my husband. That's kind of where I'm seeing that, mirror, but it's not a mirror. It's kind of like the ones who woke up, however many years ago to up until, say, September or whatever. I just remember going through all these things, like finding YouTube videos and being like, how do I know if I'm connecting to my higher self? And what level of awakening am I at? And am I angelic? And you know what I mean? But I've had this conversation with him, because to me, I guess he's still a second waver, but it's kind of that, because he's still in that, like, but it almost feels like he doesn't have to do as much work to get that connection. Like, kind of.
I know. Let me tell you.
I'm just curious to your part of this, because there's a lot of people.
I want to talk about this, because I was awake as a child, which entailed going back to sleep many times, because there was no one even to talk to. They just look at you like you took drugs. So I've been going through this for years. And in the beginning, it would take years to get one epiphany. Right. Then it would take months. And now it's like that. So what I want to say about that is, for those of us who woke up earlier, there's no reason to be pissy about this, because these people are being knocked around.
Exactly.
They're getting things fast, but it's like a freight train. It's like a
it's like for us, for example, which my mom always told me, she says, Angela Rose, and this is ever since I was little, she's like, is your ESPN talking to you again? It's like, I don't know what that is, Mom, but I'd always tell her things, and it's just my my awareness that I've always had, and it's really no difference now. I'm just aware of it, opposed to just being like, whatever. But no, I just think it's so cool. But in the same sense, we have to have compassion for them. Like you said, it's like the energy of that divine masculine that we know they're getting their ever loving asses kicked. We know it. And is it still frustrating? Both of us experience it with our divine partners. And, you know, I just, every time it's like, why don't you get this? Or where are you right now? And are you not even feeling that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you not feel my heart? Are you not, it's not about, but look at, did you hear what I just said? And that I have to catch myself in that when I'm having that argument or conversation, but it was all about me.
Yeah, and you have to come to a place where, and this is harder because of the connection, you have to come to a place where you can compassionately remove yourself. And when you feel things going on, it's very difficult. You're like, okay, I got to go meditate and let this go. I got to let this go, because it's, you know, no one was there when I went through these things. No one was interrupting me.
We all pretty much did it alone.
Yeah.
And then we miraculously one day found YouTube and realized that we're not alone. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I was like, where has all of this been? I've just been like, I really want to tell you what they're telling me, but I can't say they, because you're like, who are these other people, or, you know, whatever. But
who are they?
But then it's just, you know, but that's that permission slip even, but that self-love, that confidence, that even compassion for yourself, that, hey, even if I'm a little bit different, I mean, but look at all of us now, like, we're just like rolling with it. You know, if I would have, speaking of that, here's the other part, not paying attention to the energy that is in support of your highest light. And the energy doesn't care if you're at work, or if you're in the grocery store, or if you're in the middle of a massage. All of these things have happened. I mean, at least for me, I got upset because I had a really, really rude customer. And I always ask before I get to work to shield my job, myself, my employees, and I call in all the higher selves, everyone that I'm going to come in contact with that day. I don't care if it's just on the phone. I have no limitations to who I call in.
That's a lot of work.
It works. It works though, because I make that agreement with them that I do not consent to supporting any negative within people. I only want to be the light that they need for any reason, whether it's they come, and that's the other thing, they come and they're like, oh, my back's been hurting. I need a tune-up. I need a transmission service. But my back, what? Where does your back come? Are you following me? And I'm like, oh, so it's like, I'll touch them. And Raphael's like, what? Let's send some, you know, let's just give them some of that love. But it's so fun, but it works. When you taught me that when I had my business and I was calling them brokers every day. And you said,
to energetically go ahead.
All of that, and don't give permission for anybody to shit in your waffles, right? So, and I just thought, that just came back to me, because it's been over a year since you said that to me. And it's not like I've done it consecutively for the last year. But I guess what I'm getting at is every single person that comes into your space all has that agreement on some level and where we can be at with them. You know what I mean? I don't know. I know you're locked up in your hacienda, but
I am locked up in my hacienda.
But people are losing their marbles. I mean, but in the same sense, there's so many that are getting a clue. And that's, you know, I definitely, I don't feel like, you know, here's us, here's the rest of the planet anymore. I definitely feel that, you know, that balance. And even the ones that don't want to be awake, it's like they're not even oblivious anymore. It's just kind of like that. I see you.
Yeah, and then there's a little bit of
all the way,
there's a
fear. I see you.
Yeah,
when before it was like, I don't get it. You're nuts, and I don't want to have a relationship with you because, you know, you're too free spirited or whatever. Go ahead, boo. Sorry, I'm a chatty Cathy.
Yeah, no, I want to ask. Hold on. So they want me to say, when you're going through these things, and sometimes it just feels like anxiety or depression. Um, and you don't want to, you know what? I tried not to face that thing last night. I tried to watch
I know
a movie.
you did.
I tried to just watch a movie and I sat down, but luckily I have guides. I hear what he says. And I said, what is up with this? And he said, what is this to you? And that's the thing. It feels like anxiety. It can feel like depression. It can feel like someone's really trying to hurt you. But to go into, they want me to say, let yourself dive into that water.
Yes.
Dive deep into that water and take it all in. Feel it completely. Part of clearing things, I think it's not fully understood. I cleared this, I'm clearing that, but that's not all there is to it. You clear this, you move through it, you find forgiveness for yourself, for other people, and then you find gratitude and you bring the whole thing back into you. You are not clearing it and pushing it away.
No.
Because that just attracts it right back to you.
Yes.
You're not, I don't ever want to freaking have this happen to me again. It's done. I cleared it. No, you didn't, because you just pushed it away.
That's exactly it. Yes.
You want to find the way to bring it back into you. I work with this. I know Angie can work with this. These are things that we are really very well versed in, unfortunately. No, not unfortunately.
Not unfortunately. I was going to say.
Not anymore.
It's beautiful when you can see the makeup. In that moment, it is not beautiful.
No.
But in order, and I look at it this way too, listen, however many people come into your existence, and it, like I said, it can be the beggar, the waiter, your bartender, your kid, it doesn't matter. You're going to have whatever experience you need to have to create and fulfill the contract you made with somebody in 5 minutes from now that we have no idea we're going to come into a relationship with. But you can always find that common ground. You can always find that common ground. And if you don't, you have just deviated from that particular contract. And I believe that's how this works. You know what I mean?
Well,
because there's always that validation at some point. And anymore, to me, it's not that far, whether it's 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 days, but you're going to get some kind of a synchronistic answer or validation, something to what you just experienced. And someone else may be trying or doing their best or just figuring out that they have to do this, or maybe they're completely, lost, that they don't know that they have to go through this, but they're giving you all these clues. And then when you're present and you're feeling, you're like, shit, all right, I'll go ahead and say it. They might think whatever they think, but it doesn't matter, because obviously I'm here in this moment with them for a reason, and let me pull it out, or at least give them some support to go through it. And we just got done clearing that, or just got done addressing it, because like we seen last night, and I told you, there's no difference between what you went through to what I go through and to what everybody else does, because the universe is going to show us all of these different examples. And if we would like to, which is the easy way, say, oh, well, this is this and this is this. They're two different people, two different meanings to me, two different energies and how I feel them, and the amount of love, whether it's, like sexual or maternal or paternal. What's the underlying? What is the underlying, and where's that common thread? And how much of that common thread do you still have left within you that's holding you back in any possible way? And that is the wholeness right now to me of the energy that is in support of us being our best versions of ourselves. Is they're going to bring up those little pieces that's left on that string where we've cleared it all off, but then there's a little piece. It's like, oh, hop over it and move on. You can't hop over it anymore.
Yeah, because I want to point this out. There's love and there's fear. And I don't know how your journey went, but my journey went, I did a lot of clearing. I cleared almost everything that was really big. And I was walking around in the love vibration. And then another very huge journey came to me, okay? So now I see this. You were given a preview of what you can have.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're going to have to, now this new journey is going to pull all the rest out of you.
All of it.
And as soon as you do that, you can stand in a love vibration. And this is not about forgiving someone and letting them energetically off the hook. That makes a big difference to them and to you. This is about finding the love vibration. You know, anything that you call negative or darkness is only here. Yes. Yeah, my guide. It's only here. It's only here to show you the light of love, to show you and highlight love. It's there so you can find your way back.
That's right.
And we have become so lost in this world, and it's time. We said we want to change. We want a higher vibration of planet. Well, guess what? It's time to do our work.
And in order to, you're exactly right. And, you know, you and I have had this conversation so many times, but, you know, in the beginning of, and am I wrong by saying the new energy, which is 2020, like to me, it like literally December, it was like something completely different, very just good, you know, and there was little pieces of, you know, oh, let's deal with this and let's see this through. But it was like we gave ourselves, and it was not even ourselves, like it was like the universe gave us permission to do it kind of half-ass. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to clear this, but I'm going to
I don't see it that way. I see it that we had a chance and we didn't take it completely. This was supposed to be a beautiful year, and this is our backup. You know, okay, you guys did not do it. You did not do it.
You didn't finish. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's like we worked through enough to keep our vibration at the level that it needed to be. But this raise in frequency that Gaia is going through and purging, well, we are one. So we have to purge as well. So if we purged everything last year in the older energy, this new energy is here. It's higher vibrational. So we were at the penthouse, you know, we were at the top floor. But now it's like, boom, it's here. And there's a whole 5 or 6 more stories. You can't, the ceiling's capped off, but is it? You raise your vibration enough, you can literally float through the penthouse and get up to that next floor. But now it starts that thing again. Before we were down at the bottom level, we wanted to get to the penthouse, to where we just felt that, you know, understanding within ourselves. Well, now there's a whole new level. And I just think it's going to keep going and going and going.
Yes, of course.
And I just think it's so cool that the people that are waking up now, it's like they don't even have to start at the bottom, because we've done and created that groundwork, and we're all strategically placed just so that it's like all of them have at least someone. There's really not that feeling of aloneness anymore. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong, and I'm, you know, anyone needs anyone. I'll be here for whomever. But you know what I mean? Like, we got to just keep going, and we're creating our own levels, like, of where we have to be and what we're not going to tolerate within ourselves out of the highest love. But we got to deal with the little pieces that are left behind. And if there's something straggling, the universe is making sure that it's going to keep coming up. And if it's you can call it a karmic loop or whatever you want to call it, but it's going to keep coming back.
Okay, I want to put my language in. We're very similar, but we're different too. You call it the universe, but you know, where I've gone through and what I've seen, I used to think the universe is involved, but I see myself as the catalyst.
I do too. Let me correct that real quick.
Yeah.
When I say universe, to me, that's all. Like everything. Yeah. Every bug, you know what I mean? Like, to me, it's the oneness. It's all. Like, there's no exceptions, because it's every energy, everything. So that's it's just kind of my synopsis on the whole thing. Go ahead.
But I think, is there anything else that we need to share for these lovely souls? I think we're good. Did you hear anything? Why are you
I
making
hear
that face?
that we're working through your time limitations. That's what I hear, but no worries. It's okay. We can do this more often. And
We should, yes.
well, but yes, and it's just it's just that understanding, that love, and just be honest with yourself, because
and easy with yourself.
well,
Give
exactly,
yourself
a
the
little bit of love and
Yeah.
compassion and patience,
Mhm.
kindness, understanding, and don't limit. Realize that you are changing in every moment. Like if you're vegetarian and you're like, why am I craving a burger? If you're craving it, there's no exceptions, in my opinion. Do what your body's calling for, because we're ever changing. So
Well, we're all different. You're not less spiritual if you eat meat. That's just a
no.
ridiculous thought. That's a personal choice.
But I'm just saying, like, by being easier and patient and more kind.
Oh yeah.
Understand that you're not the same tomorrow as you were a year ago. So let go of any thought processes or patterns that had any judgment on yourself.
Expectations.
Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, the dense word, but yes, I'm not a fan.
I know.
I love you.
I love you. Thank you all for joining us. All right. Nope, I pushed the wrong. I always do.
It's all right.
La 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 la. Okay, I'm stopping it. Thank you all.